Welcome to the morning news here on TV3 with me, Going Asiba, coming up this morning. And the bulletin renewed calls to government to diversify funding and review free senior high school policy. Also in the bulletin, police and minority to tag of war over agreement on routes designed for the September 5 protest march. In South Africa, BRICS leaders agree to expand alliance. A while later, on the international front, Wagner boss Yevgeny Prigozhin on board crashed a Russian plane. We have details of these and some other stories coming your way. Do stay with us. We begin the bulletin from South Africa. In what may be a game-changing development, the BRICS leaders have agreed to expand the alliance with an announcement expected today. But what are the prospects for Ghana, and will this decision influence Ghana to join the alliance? My colleague Judith Awoche-Tando has more in this report.
Finally agreed on an expansion. That's according to the South African foreign minister. The expansion of BRICS has been one of the biggest agendas at the 15th summit taking place in Johannesburg in South Africa. And while most BRICS members were in support of the enlargement, there have been divisions on how many countries should join as well as how soon they could. Well, this agreement paves way for dozens of interested candidate nations who as of now stand at about 40 to make their case for joining the grouping, which seeks to lead the development of the Global South.
New realities call for a fundamental reform of the institutions of global governance so that they may be more representative and better able to respond to the challenges that confront humanity.
Nigeria, which is the biggest economy in Africa, has so far expressed interest in joining BRICS, and we have to see whether or not Ghana will follow suit. But while we await Ghana's final verdict, some key personalities have expressed hope it will soon join.
There are always national considerations, so I wouldn't be the one to say to Ghana, please apply, but I hope that at least whatever decision Ghana takes, they'll have considered the opportunity and decided in the best national interests.
Judith Awoche-Tando, TV3 News, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Back to the capital, Accra, the quest by the NDC minority to pile pressure on Central Bank Governor Dr. Ernest Addison to resign is gathering momentum after the opposition MPs say they have reached a consensus with the police en route for their September 5 march.
Zone to get the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison to resign and resign in earnest. That September 5 protest by the minority in Parliament appears to be all but confirmed after more than an hour of meeting with the police hierarchy at the Accra Regional Police Command. According to the Deputy Minority Leader of the NDC, Ama Kofi Boa, they have agreed with the original route as captured in the letter submitted to the police command.
The police service made some proposals to us, and we also insisted on our proposals in terms of the route we have. We concluded the meeting that we will go through the route that we have proposed. And so everything is set for our protest, which will be joined by thousands of Ghanaians.
The NDC MPs had, in a letter dated August 21, stated their desire to march from the frontage of Parliament House through the Osu Cemetery traffic light to the Ministry of Finance, to the High Court Complex, Kimbu, Makola, Rollins Park, Opera Square, and then end up at the Bank of Ghana. For Boko Central MP Mahama Ayariga, the NDC minority in Parliament will ensure Dr. Addison receives their petition demanding his resignation.
We want the governor to be the one to receive our petition. And that is why we must march to the central bank building itself so that he can come down and then receive the petition himself. And we insisted on that position. So I believe that the police will convey our demands to him. And I believe that he would make himself available to receive our petition.
Dr. Ernest Addison is coming under pressure to resign after the central bank posted 60 billion cedis in losses and the ongoing construction of a new head office amidst the country's current economic challenge. Eric Mawina Egbeta, TV3 News, Accra Regional Police Command.
The Electoral Commission's decision to hold voter registration at district offices is causing backlash from Afram Plains residents who fear disenfranchised. Addressing the press in Donko-Krom, MP for Afram Plains North, Betty Nana Efua Crosby Mensah warns the decision will have financial impact on constituents.
Given the nature of the constituency, the only reliable means of transport are boats, canoes, and ferries. To access the district capital, constituents have to travel several kilometers on water and commute by road to Donko-Krom. Constituents who live on Agodeke, for instance, that is in the Dija Island, have to travel by boat for close to 8 to 10 hours to get to the riverbank at Supom or Brejano, and then continue for over 5 kilometers distance by road to the district capital, which is in Donko-Krom. It will surprise you that the cost involved is as close as 350 Ghana cedis to go to, in fact, to travel from Agodeke on the Duja Island to Donko-Krom. I wish to, on behalf of the people of Afram Plains North, appeal to the Electoral Commission to, as a matter of urgency, review the registration modalities for Afram Plains North in consultation with the district inter-party committees by creating registration centers on all islands to facilitate the registration of voters.
Stakeholders at the TV3 National Dialogue have renewed calls for the review of the free senior high school policy. They contend that after a number of years of implementation, the policy must be examined and improved for better educational outcomes.
High school policy since inception in 2017 has reached an estimated 1.2 million students. Enrollment figures have seen an increment with WASSCE pass rates on a steady rise. The policy implementation, however, is fraught with challenges. Economist and former rector of GIMPA, Professor Stephen Adair, highlighted shortcomings of the policy and proposed solutions.
The free SHS is good. It is facing challenges. It must be tweeted and made better so that Ghanaians will ensure that no child is left behind. You go to Prempeh College, meant for about 1,000 students, have about 5,000 students, and students had to squeeze to go on them. And so we have a serious one, so nobody should see anybody who thinks that we should improve free SHS is an enemy of a regime or anybody else.
Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, Dr. Peter Pate-Anti, indicated that the funding for the policy is not sustainable.
And when we talk about the sustainability issue, people think that we want parents to pay. What I think is that we want another stream of income for the policy, so that if you have 60% coming from government, there's some 40% coming from somewhere. I don't care whether it's parents, I don't care whether it's an international grant, I don't care whether it's even taxes.
Kofi Asare of the Africa Education Watch lamented the dwindling resource envelope for sectors such as basic education due to the huge amount allocated to free SHS.
If you look at the pre-tertiary budget, I'm talking about basic and secondary budget of the Ministry of Education. Take our salary, we call it non-discretionary budget. If you analyze the non-discretionary budget of the Ministry of Education for this year, for instance, you realize that basic education is taking about 4%.
For me as a school teacher, I walk to the schools every morning and I see the schools deteriorate. And that is where my concern is. The philosophies and the theories don't matter to me.
There are good schools that have better infrastructure to support this policy. But because the conversation itself is not all opened for parents and major stakeholders to make input and for it to be considered, it becomes very difficult for the private schools to be added.
In May this year, government announced plans to review the free SHS program. Details are still scanty as to what form this review would take.
More on education. The Education Minister, Dr. Yawosei Duchum, has urged Ghanaians to disregard politicians' criticism that government has failed to transform the education sector. He was speaking at the launch of this year's Ghana Teacher Prize celebration in Accra.
Don't pay attention to some of the assertion by my colleague politicians who will come to you and tell you that this government has done nothing in education. Politicians are our worst enemies. Because sometimes I look at it and I'm saying to myself, as a citizen of Ghana, if I was not a politician, how would I feel when I hear both parties lambasting each other and discounting the achievement they've chalked with the taxpayers' money, so when they are lying to you, don't hear them. When we are in Parliament, we don't say those things. We eat together. We have fun together. We get on TV and we lie to you.
The sector minister emphasized government's commitment to motivating teachers and implementing senior high school programs to make students job competitive.
We have middle junior high schools under construction that will move junior high schools from 19th century to 21st century education system powered by STEM. We haven't left out the arts, because the review of the new high school curriculum is ensuring that students will become more well-rounded and be able to offer a course in visual arts, even if it's for a year. It doesn't have to be 3 years.
In the Upper East region, the lives of pupils and teachers at Kukruzua Basic School in the Boko West district of the Upper East region are at risk. Well, there's an unfortunate incident. The dilapidated school building houses pupils from KG1 to Primary 3.
There are no schools in Ghana that are sitting under trees. Come to Kukruzua Primary School. From KG1, 2, 3 up to P3, they are all sitting under trees.
Kukruzua Primary School was established in 2004 as part of the HICC project. Over time, the building has deteriorated with no renovation. The deteriorating state of the building is putting the lives of the pupils and teachers at risk, forcing them to resort to studying under trees. Deep cracks line the walls and pillars of the school building, leaving it perilously close to collapse. Although appeals have been made to the Ghana Education Service and the Boko West District Assembly, nothing has been done about the situation.
This is a death trap, and we are finding it difficult to control the children in the classroom. Because of that, our enrollment has reduced.
Gladys Baba is the head teacher of Kukruzua Primary School.
Teaching on air, the children are not understanding anything. And they will write the same exams, and at the end, they will blame the teachers that the children are not performing. How will you perform that magic? And then we appeal to the assembly. Common marker balls, common marker pen, common duster. They said they don't have money. What do they want us to do again? We are suffering. The children are suffering.
Some teachers have been sharing their experiences.
For the past 3 years, KG1 and 2, P1, P2, P3, this is what we have been using. It's just a cardboard. The time that you are supposed to use and teach, you have to come and write it like this. Sit down and write, consume time. After that, you come and the students, some of them say they don't understand. And sometimes these things, we don't get it. Sometimes I write on the air for them. How can you come to school? At the end of the day, you will not achieve what you have come to do.
And it's not even easy pasting it on the board. Most of them cannot see